are live.
Welcome back, folks. I'm Jon Najarian. I am here today, thankfully. Had a little incident on the lake, but we'll talk about that some other time. But CJ and Monty and I are here for you with the Daily Crypto Byte. A lot of interesting things coming out of HODL waves and others, guys, as far as, when not just hodlers, people that own coins, but miners, when they sell. And generally, if miners, because hodlers really don't sell, but miners generally have to support those operations, the people that work there, pay the electricity and everything else, buy new equipment. So they generally are trying to sell on up moves. And I think HODL Waves was noting that an awful lot of those miners are just not selling on the drop, which, would be extremely disciplined on their part. But maybe one of the reasons that Bitcoin dominance fell into the 30s for a while there. By the way, let me see, I'll pull it up today. I think we were back up to 45 yesterday as far as Bitcoin dominance as a percentage. Today, 45.3. ETH is still hanging in there, 17.3. But the Bitcoin dominance, I think, broke all the way down beneath 39 briefly, guys. And that would play right into what HODL Waves was saying about it.
Yeah, John, that's one of the most interesting metrics. I saw a few from Glassnode as well, talking about kind of how the older hands in this space are playing this market. And it seems like a lot of them, aren't selling. And in fact, if you look at Glassnode, I don't have the chart ready right now, but there is a graphic about old hands and how much Bitcoin they hold. And it's been a really interesting relationship. Obviously, when the price goes up, they start to sell their coins. But now that it seems like we're kind of bottoming out, they're really starting to accumulate again. So I think that, ties in with not only are the miners not selling, but it looks like the whales are content to accumulate at this level as well. But CJ, we had a pretty interesting news story take place over the last 24 hours. Lots of people in our chat room were talking about it, and that is regarding Iron Finance and the Titan token. I want to quickly tell the people about that, what you've been hearing about it so far.
So this was a DeFi project that Mark Cuban was the most notable individual involved in this particular project, and essentially it experienced a bank run yesterday because you have these two things within the ecosystem. You have Titan, which is the token that actually fluctuates in value. And then you have Iron, which is supposed to be the stable coin. Obviously, nothing is truly a stable coin because the market can pay whatever it wants for a stable coin, but it's intended to be pegged to $1. And so essentially when we had this, these whales taking profits on Titan from about 65 to 60, we had that $5 decrease that shook the peg within the stable coin Iron. And that's also occurred sometimes in Tether and has caused like similar bank runs, people rushing to withdraw Tether. So essentially we saw the exact same thing happen with Titan and Iron. And it was almost just like a vortex of money. Because if you literally look at the chart, there's just one massive red candle following the top. And within a very short period of time, that price had dropped from $65 to less than a penny. So it's
and
just
CJ, if you would, for the viewers and listeners, when you say it broke the tether, if you will, it broke the people no longer believed that they could hold the coin at, for instance, like Tether, USDC, or any of the stable coins. They're dependent on basically just tying a digital asset, pegging it to $1. But when that peg's broken, then people really get concerned about, well, is my money there?
Yeah,
and it causes a lot of panic. And the example, probably the most clear example, is Tether in the previous bear market. We've had instances where it's lost its dollar peg just because of fear and uncertainty. People lost their trust in Tether, so they pull it out very quickly. And it has traded for like the low of 89 cents, when it's supposed to be pegged at $1. So really, unless you're physically backing something, like USDC is just so much more legit in my mind, because it's much more regulated. But regardless, when people lose confidence in an asset or specifically a stable coin, they'll sell it for less than $1. We've seen it.
Yep. And to your point, we haven't seen it in either of the major stable coins right now, the ones with the most market cap anyway, in quite a while. But it is somewhat scary when a firm doesn't have the money. Let me throw a couple news items out to you guys that I think you'll like. The hedge funds, I love this headline. 98% of hedge funds expect to hold cryptocurrency by 2026. Loved that one. They polled all these hedge funds, and the top 100 respondents that had an average of 7.3 billion in assets said that they expect that their funds will hold cryptos by 2026. Now that's 5 years into the future. I think the migration will start a lot faster than that. And obviously with Paul Tudor Jones the other day and some of these others, it already has. But I thought this was an interesting bit of news. And then this one, sponsor of this program, Voyager. Am I stealing your thunder? Either of you guys were going to report this one? NASCAR driver Landon Cassill to be paid entirely in cryptocurrency. He will be the first NASDAQ driver to be paid entirely in cryptocurrency via a sponsorship deal with Voyager, the sponsor of this show. So I guess we need to reach out and get, Steve Ehrlich and the guys at Voyager to up their game for the Daily Crypto Byte. I have a feeling Landon Cassill and his 80,000 Twitter followers and all those NASCAR folks will be applauding this, but where's ours, Steve? No, but they are a sponsor of our show, folks. Voyager Digital, 50 plus assets. They pay up to 9+% depending on the deposited crypto. That's a return you won't find in a bank. And they have 0 commissions. And if you use Rebel 25, you get $25 in Bitcoin if you use Rebel 25 in the promo code.
Yeah, John, that's so interesting. Voyager's been making some pretty cool moves in terms of, those PR plays. They bought the season tickets to the A's press box with 1 Bitcoin. That's what they paid for it, 1 Bitcoin. I think that was back around when Bitcoin was at 50K. So still a pretty good deal. But also, I think that's so interesting, the paying NASCAR drivers, because one thing that, has kind of, really set off this whole arms race for governments adopting Bitcoin. So Zap Labs and Strike, which is the company that, allowed for these microtransactions to happen in El Salvador, they first started out providing athletes to the ability to swap their contracts into crypto. So we had some big names do that, like Russell Okung. Also, Trevor Lawrence partnered with BlockFi or Blockfolio, I think, actually. And he is getting his signing bonus entirely in crypto. So clearly there's some confidence there, and people are, that's really what it comes down to. I think when people are willing to get paid in crypto instead of USD, really speaks to their conviction and their belief that, either A, the dollar and inflation is going to be a problem going forward, or, B, the appreciation of crypto makes it worth it to take my paycheck in crypto today. So cool strides being taken in the sports community all around.
Yeah. And
I see in the chat our friend Digital Asset News. This is a comment on your hedge fund point, John. 98% of hedge funds, crazy. If they're getting in by 2026, we need to front run these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely. And When you look at it, guys, institutional adoption is one of the keys. And hedge funds, we've already had various endowments like Yale and Harvard say that they want exposure to crypto through the alternative managers that they're giving money to. That's just going to continue. If Kevin O'Leary is right, we're going to see more and more of those push towards people that are holding green coins that are mined with without the same carbon footprint as for instance, a coal-fired plant. Somebody dependent on energy from a coal-fire plant to mine crypto. But there is no doubt that an awful lot of these alternative asset investors that are in hedge funds, whether they are those institutional investors that are from Harvard, Yale, Penn, whatever, that have these endowments and they need to get a little more alpha. No doubt that they're pushing in there. And it's a matter of time before others are likewise chasing. And it's a limited asset. There's a limited quantity of it. So, it makes some of those predictions, like I think Raoul Paul said yesterday in an interview over in London that he thought 225 to 250,000 is his target for Bitcoin next year. By the end of next year, it will be more or less 6x from where it is right now.
What's interesting, John, is like that prediction is not that outlandish. There's a lot of people that believe that. So it makes me wonder why, some of these institutions would put a 5-year window or like a 5-year time out on this. Why aren't they investing now? I think a lot of the reason has to do with something that CJ and I were talking about on our webinar yesterday. And that's sort of the ambiguity around the regulation currently in the crypto space. Earlier this year, the news came out that there could be an increase in capital gains tax on crypto. That really shook the price. And I think that's something that, because the price of Bitcoin is still so susceptible to news from governments or even just tweets from Elon Musk, that makes it somewhat unappealing to an institutional hedge fund, in my opinion. But in 5 years down the road, when there's a lot more regulational clarity, when the tax laws have been more clearly defined, and there's just less risk of the government, laying down some sanction that could have potentially crippled the price. That's what these institutions and big name players are waiting for, is just a bit more legitimacy to put their money into the crypto space.
I agree. And that should be playing out in the not too distant future too, Monty. So love it. Who wants to kick off Doges of the day today?
I'll go first.
All right.
I feel like we're starting to get a nice groove in the lineup, So
that means that he's going to steal your pick, Monty.
Actually, I'm going with the same pick I had yesterday. This one is up about 6 or 7% since yesterday, and it's still seeing good volume. The relative trading volume is up over 500%. So there's been a lot of pumping going on in this particular crypto, and I think it could run to 13.6. That would be up from the current price of about 11 cents currently. But I'm very bullish on this one just because of the volume spike that we've seen. The places that this is tradable are Binance, nowhere else in the United States, not on Kraken or Coinbase. Kind of got to go to some of the larger, lower cap coin exchanges to get this one. But I think it's got a really nice technical setup, and I'm going to be sticking with it for today.
All right.
Very nice. Thank you, CJ. Dr. Doge, what have you got for us today, my friend?
I believe Chiliz, CHZ. It's a top 50 coin. Let's see. Most recent high just yesterday was right around 36. It's dipping now to a 33-ish level. I am going to wait until we get to right around 30 although it's between 28 and 30 has been where it's consolidated for 3 of the last 4 days. So be a little patient, see if you can pick some CHZ up between 28 and 30. We're seeing, a soft market today, not a whoosh lower, but a soft market, and you might get a chance to pick this one up a little bit lower.
Nice. Yeah, I did see that one on the Trade the Chain sentiment dashboard as well. So nice pick. Mine today is going to be a purely technical play, and that is H bar, Hedera hash graph. I haven't talked about this one in a while. I do still actually hold some. But what I like here is just where it's at in relation to this 200 period moving average. 5 days ago, we got a really nice bounce off that moving average on this buy 9. And this kind of reminds me of what I was speaking to yesterday about Engine and Mana and how they established critical levels on their way up earlier this year. And those levels are maintaining their criticality later in the year. So as you can see, this level right here of 21 cents was established as a critical level to the upside. It took a significant amount of volume to break through. And then that flipped and started acting as support here. So you can see, we had a couple candle body closes here, wick down here, a few more here. Now it flipped and it's acting as support. The reason or acting as resistance, excuse me. The reason why I like it now, though, is because we're getting this sort of compression in this range between 18 cents and 21 cents. And I like the fact that there's such strong support to the downside. This 200 period moving average is something that hasn't been broken this year for H bar, and it actually hasn't been broken in the entirety of the assets existence. So, the reason I like entering a long trade here is because you can, feel free to exit the trade as soon as this moving average gets broke, because I do think that would, really invalidate this as support. But right now, it just seems to me like the downside potential is so much smaller than the upside potential. A break above this critical level of 21 cents could lead to a run up of 25. And historically, we've seen, this asset show incredible moves of strength, even amidst, a market that isn't showing that much strength itself. So that is my pick today, H bar. I will consider adding to it if it breaks above that 21 cent level.
I like it a lot. Well, folks, remember, you can join CJ and Monty in the Market Rebellion chat room. You can do that by joining them for $1 for your first month. And that is marketrebellion.com/try crypto. That gets you in, and you can click below, as Monty's pointing out, to get right in. And marketrebellion.com/try crypto gets you that $1 for your first month. And then hopefully you continue with us for many months, many years. With that said, thank you all for tuning in today.
Thank you guys for watching. And as always, thank you to Voyager for sponsoring the show. We will be back tomorrow, same time. See you guys then.
Yeah. And we want a NASCAR sponsorship too, Steve Ehrlich.
Send it straight to my Voyager account. Thanks, Steve. Bye, guys.
Thank you.